let's get to our torchbearers and the report card against Florida. Torchbearers are tough to find out of a group that did not play their best and got all kinds of out of sorts. So, who are the torchbearers, the bright spots, the guys that played their best in the loss to Florida?
So I got Brew McCoy at number 5. Would have been higher, but that third down drop, you got to knock him down a notch. But he still played. He got 94 yards receiving and a touchdown, so I give him a lot of props. Bryson Eason had a sack in the middle. And, when I first watched the game, I was blaming the whole defensive line. I went back. The defensive tackles actually did their job. It was the angles that the edge rushers were taking and the linebackers were taking. So I think the tackles were fine. Bryson Eason did what he was supposed to do. He was the best of the group. He was a little better than Amari. Number 3, and his stats don't show it, but Jalen Wright, 63 yards on 16 carries, but he had no holes to go through. And he fought. I mean, how many yards did he get? How many plays were there in the second half, Dave, where Jalen Wright maybe should have only gotten 3, 4, or 5 yards, and he turned it into 9 or 10 yards because he was just fighting for extra yards?
No, he's a very underrated running back nationally, not only in the SEC.
Yep. And number 2, Jackson Ross. This is probably the biggest positive of the game for Tennessee. Jackson Ross is settling in as a punter now, honestly. He had 3 really good punts, 2 inside the 20. And if Tennessee was going to come back and win that game, it'd have been because they had a major kicking advantage, quite honestly. And number 1, I'm eating crow over the second straight week, but it was Aaron Beasley. Now, Aaron Beasley did allow 4 catches the 4 times he was targeted, but he was also trying to cover there were a lot of times Elijah Herring was out of position. So that's a little bit skewed. Aaron Beasley still actually had a tackle for loss, 8 total tackles, 4 of those were solo.
Okay, report card. Give me the report card. Then we're going to get to Spencer Riley and get his thoughts.
All right, so in terms of the report card, I'm going quarterbacks C-. I think Joe Milton did a lot of good things, did some negative things, though. And so I got C-. I got B+ for running backs and B- for receivers and B for tight end. Dave, do you think it's crazy that I give them all above average grades? I don't think running backs, receivers, or tight ends are at fault for this game at all.
No. I mean, Dante Thornton needs to go up and make a play every once in a while like he did when that ball was underthrown by Joe Milton, but Joe Milton got it out slow. He read it slow and then underthrew the ball. So, no, I mean, you would like to see a very good receiver go up and get that. So go right ahead. I want to remind you that the report card today is brought to you by Andy Mason Real Estate experts with over 4 decades combined experience in East Tennessee. Support our sponsors. Go to andymasonrealestate.com. Best prices, best service in the biz. He's my realtor. He should be yours. It's that simple. All right, go ahead.
All right, so the offensive line is a D. The only reason it's not enough is I thought the tackles played fine, but the interior was just so bad. It's got to be a D. Am I being too hard on that, Dave?
No, and I give on that side of the ball more credit to Florida for attacking Tennessee horizontally and not feeling like, well, they didn't have to keep up with a high-scoring team. I thought Florida's offensive attack was masterful.
No, I was talking about the offensive line. Tennessee's offensive line.
Oh, Tennessee's offensive line.
So is that unfair?
You gave them a D?
I gave them a D just because of the interior. I don't blame the tackles.
No, I don't have a problem with that. There was all kinds of communication issues. I think a D is very fair.
Okay. Defensive tackle C+. Not great, not bad. Edge rushers D+. And I know you say they ran horizontally, but Tyler Barrett and Roman Harrison are 4th and 5th year seniors. They should have a little more experience dealing with that, honestly.
No problem with that.
And linebacker C-. I mean, Elijah Herring is enough, but I got to be fair to him. I'm not trying to knock on him too much. Like Ollie Lane, they both are not supposed to be starting right now where they're starting. But Aaron Beasley was an A, so that's where I get him a C-. Defensive backs, this is crazy. I give defensive backs a B-. And I know everybody's mad at Kamal Haddon because he got trucked on that. He didn't even try to make a tackle on that one play. But honestly, he was targeted like 5 times and only gave up 1 catch. I don't think the defensive backs deserve any blame for this game, for what happened.
No, they weren't attacked. I mean, it was all a horizontal approach. I mean, I don't know if they would have made plays. Graham Mertz had probably the game of his life or the game of his college career, but
he has been that efficient on the short passes all year.
Yeah. So, I mean, the game of his life, he beat Tennessee, he beat a ranked team. and he beat an SEC East rival, and he was very efficient. I thought what he did, and tennis, and if you notice, every single time Graham Mertz had the option to easily escape the pocket. So there was not going to be a set pocket where you could run those twists and stunts and blitz schemes to attack him. And I think there are times that got Tennessee out of position, which is why you saw missed tackles, which is why you saw guys leaning to the right when the play was to their left. I don't know how many times I saw that. That's eye discipline. I hate to use that because that was a Butch Jones term, but it is true. Their eye discipline was poor. Tennessee did not play well. I think it's the first time somebody's attacked them like that. I'm not making excuses, but I thought Florida had a great offensive approach. You and I debated a little bit that you and I debated just a little bit that maybe they were too conservative in the second half. I think they were perfect. I think they wanted to play keep away, and it ended up working out for them, and the game was never really in doubt in the fourth quarter. Thanks.
We also, to be fair to the defense, they were a little tired in the first half too, because Tennessee couldn't stay on the field on offense. I mean, that's a part of it, Dave, isn't it? I mean, that's a big reason Heupel did that long drive to open the third quarter, was because, quite honestly, Tennessee's defense, it was just an onslaught that happened really fast. You know how those games go. It just happened just real quick. And I think it was Tennessee's defense was just way too tired because they couldn't run the ball in the first half. And Heupel, his whole offense goes out the window if he can't run the ball. And that part's true. Now, as far as
get a lead, a significant lead, that allows the defense to attack what is usually a stagnant pocket. All right, what else? What other grades do we have before we get to Spencer Riley?
Just two more. No return game grade because there were no returns, but kicking game, A+. I mean, A+ for kicking.